So here's a question. Did you guys know I have a Goodreads? I know I don't advertise well or advertise anything, and I need to get back there and work on updating it among other things. But I mentioned Goodreads because I oftentimes use it to discover books I might be interested in. Basically, I plug in the books I've already read or have purchased, and it spits out books I might be interested in. And every so often, it gives me a winner. In this case, it spit out this book, Never Die. Anyway, this is an interesting. In an Asian inspired fantasy world where various legendary heroes and figures exist, live and fight day in and day out. Well, not day in and day out, but they live, fight, and do all that other stuff in order to become legends. And, well, one day, one of said legends, a woman named Itami Cho, also known as the Whispering Blade, dies at the hands of a rampaging bandit known as Fire Fist because he literally sets his fist on fire, which is metal and pretty cool. Anyway, she fights a long battle against him and his bandit horde, only to inevitably die at the hands of said Fire Fist. Only she wakes up after death. And no, not in the afterlife, she wakes up on the mortal plane, as she's been resurrected by a strange, almost inhuman young boy named Ein. And, well, Ein meets the Whispering Blade alongside several other heroes for the sake of a mission given to him by a Shinigami, or a death god. That mission? Kill the nearly godlike Emperor of the Ten Rings, the ruler of the land, and savior of the people, despite doing some secretly shady shit. And Ein will have his heroes, whether he'll have to scavenge their dead bodies off the battlefield, like with the Whispering Blade here, or orchestrate their deaths himself. Or get his people to basically put a hit out on him, basically getting the other heroes to put a hit out on that hero to bring them back to life. Anyway, traveling to the capital, there are various threats on their hide, ranging from bandits who want to either kill them or are just bandits, or people that they have grudges against, or grudges against them, and yokai who are on the heels of Ein because, well, Shinigami contract. They really don't like that, as well as Ein's own dreams of becoming a hero one day. And with all that, Ein has no choice but to drag the heroes alongside him, marching forward, promising them new life yet again, as they're only mostly dead right now. And because of that, food tastes like shit, they can't really drink much of anything, and, well, life isn't really worth living when you're half dead. Anyway, promise of a new life, he guides the heroes on their journey to go assassinate the Emperor, and they have to do battle to protect the kid, because again, defenseless young boy and yokai. So, pretty simple overall. It's a fun road trip. It's a fun road trip story with stakes, murderous stakes, and not the vampire kind. But I mean, I could say despite a simple premise, but the simple premise is what the book works with. It works and runs with it. It's an overall fun ride full of pretty fun action scenes and great moments of these characters whooping ass, which you kind of would want from a story about a bunch of heroes sent to go assassinate the Emperor. This is a fun one. I recommend anyone who just wants a fun standalone story to read. And if the description seems like you'd be into it, I recommend it. Probably because you've read or watched some anime recently. Of course, where would the story be without the various characters and the heroes, while not all necessarily good people or good guys, with some of them being former bandits, some being murderers or killers, and some being just greedy assholes. I'm not specifying anything here. Each of them have their own reasons for their actions and their own backstories that are mentioned as legends, such as the Battle of So-and-so or slaying such and this. It all leads to interesting bits because I seems to be an encyclopedia on these heroes and constantly being like, but you were the hero of so-and-so or you slayed this and that. I try not to specify things even if I don't exactly remember each legendary feat because it keeps coming up, but it's not really going into that much detail because it's a legend. And that's also a pretty cool thing. It's like reading a comic book when you don't understand the full backstory, but a character mentions a really cool piece of history and you're curious. Although in this case, you don't have to dig back for like 20-plus-year-old comic books to read to get context. The context is just they did this, so keep moving on. Also, it's fun to see a party full of anti-heroes. It's just a bit of a cool thing. It's easy to compare this story to an anime, which I believe is intentional. I mean, this is an Asian influenced world and they keep dropping yokai and shinigami, so I'm pretty sure there's a very strong anime influence here. And as an anime fan, I enjoy that. Especially seeing the different types of yokai that pop up throughout the story and try to combat our heroes. It all leads to interesting fights, and that's pretty much what we're here for if we're reading an action story. The world itself, while not gotten into, with this world building pretty light, it's all fine because it works out for the greater story as a whole. Again, the core of this story is our cast of characters and how they deal with the situation they find themselves in right now of being mostly dead, almost wraith-like beings, and the mystery surrounding Ein himself, who has a lot of mystery around him. He says he's a kid that was resurrected by the Shinigami to do this task because he also died at some point, but we're never really given a lot of things about him, and he has a lot of mysteries around him, such as his almost inhuman gaze, the fact that touching him feels like death itself, and so many other such things. Ein's an interesting one, and his mystery is a bulk of the plot that doesn't really get solved to the very end. And yeah, I'm not going to spoil that here. Just read the book because this is honestly an interesting one. Yeah, that's basically what I can describe this book as. This is a fun and enjoyable, quick little story. Well, not little, the book gets pretty thick. Not thicker than most, but still pretty thick. If you like anime style stories with strong action, then I can't recommend this one enough. And this is a single issue, you don't have to worry about sequels or prequels or spin offs. Now, I can tell you, no, the ending might be a bit continuous for some people because it just kind of ends, but I think that works in the favor of the story. This is the story of Ein and the heroes, so once that's over, the story's over. And yeah, with all that said, again, if you like action and anime, then this one comes recommended. Can't give it a big enough thumbs up. Pretty short one today, but if I talk anymore, I might talk about the ending, which is very spoilery. So yeah, till next time, everybody.